Let me start by asking you guys a question. Who over here has been told what they need to become in the future? Because in my house, it's very simple. I can either become a doctor or a doctor. Like, wow, I'm just so overwhelmed with the amount of options that I can choose from. And, I've asked my parents, why are you forcing me to become a doctor? And then they go what? I would never force anything upon you. You can choose any career path you want. Dermatology, cardiology, neurosurgery, and then this conversation just goes on and on. And I'm sure this isn't the case only in my house. Probably in almost every other kid's house, their parents drag them into some kind of trap, like mine, where they're forced to meet up to their parents' expectations and live up to their standards. But why? Have you ever wondered why we get this need to follow what they say? You see, in this generation that we're in now, and this society that we live in, we're expected to do everything according to other people. We see them achieve something valuable, and we start wanting that valuable achievement for ourselves. However, we must realize that not every human is the same, but in fact different in their own ways. However, this isn't really something that fits into everybody's head. When we do things from our own will in a unique way, which is what humans are designed to do, whether you're doing that act for another person or you're literally just doing that act for your own self, it's never, and I mean never, going to be perfect for anybody according to them, because you're doing things your own way, but apparently not their way. Sometimes you may like doing something that other people usually don't like doing, or you may have certain habits that other people usually don't have. And when you don't listen to how they do stuff, to them, whatever you do is wrong. Let me give you an example. You could literally be sitting in a classroom early in the morning, it's first lesson, and you're a bit more quiet than usual because you didn't sleep enough last night. And then 3 people with concerned faces, they come up to you and they ask you, why aren't you talking? Do you not like us? Do you hate us? Are you depressed? Bro, I'm just trying to live my life and get through. But now because they asked you this, human nature is such that you become more self-aware of yourself. And because of their criticism on your actions, usually makes you do the opposite of what you're currently doing. So now my mind tells me that I can't be quiet anymore because people are going to start thinking I'm depressed. But if I start talking too much or if I start laughing too loud, people are going to think I'm a psycho. If I wear new clothes to make myself feel cool, that's considered being way too extra. But if I wear something simple, people call me outdated and old-fashioned. You cry really badly when you watch a sad movie. Oh, stop it, you're so dramatic. But when you watch that movie with a straight face, you're so emotionless. Do you even have a heart? You rarely study, you're considered a failure and a lazy individual. But when you study too much, you're boring and you don't have a life. You can be doing anything. You can be making cereal. You put your milk in the bowl, and then you put your cereal in, and you would still hear someone from a distance saying, oh my God, no way this girl just put her milk in before her cereal. Is she crazy? It's like life is a never-winning situation. But one thing that we don't realize is that when people constantly make these comments on trying to tell you how to live your life correctly, your brain gets overstimulated. And your mind just becomes overwhelmed with the idea of trying to fit in and live up to people pleasing them. In psychology, there's this term called cognitive load, which refers to the ability of our brain working overtime 24/7, like a full-time job, trying to adjust and alter our behavior to match up to certain expectations around us. When we encounter stereotypes or our peers forcing us into something, it produces this invisible compulsion to copy them. What happens then? Your brain, it interprets it as a signal, telling you that if you don't do this certain act or if you don't copy what they're doing, you're going to be excluded, you'll be judged, you'll be rejected. You develop so many factors like anxiety, stress. Your consciousness makes you become more self-aware, and your own voice, it feels like it's being suppressed under the ocean. let me show you how this happens in real life with the help of my fellow stickman friend, Bob. Now, Bob over here is just a normal person, like all of us here in this room, except he's stuck in the same loop as us. Now, Bob over here is wearing a coat. This coat is very dear to him because it represents his whole life, his personality, his pace, and basically sums him up as a whole person. It fits him perfectly, and he feels he can move freely. But suddenly, people start stitching things onto his coat. His friends sew patches on the front of the coat with a label saying, "You need to be cool." His parents stitch pockets with embedded writing, pressuring him to become a doctor. People around him with unrealistic lifestyles attach heavy buttons on the front of the coat, telling him that he cannot afford to fail. Maybe social media comes through by kicking down the door, adding a shiny badge at the front of the coat, telling him that he has a perfect life. But is it really a perfect one? As people add these comments, the coat slowly starts to get bigger, heavier, harder to wear as each day comes, until eventually it slips off his shoulders, dragging his mental health down and him with it. The coat doesn't fit anymore. It swallows him as a whole, and he can't even see his own self in it. That's what happens when other people start piling onto us. Life starts feeling like a coat that doesn't even belong to us anymore. The role becomes too heavy, too oversized, that it hides who we really are underneath. Now, obviously, we're not all stick figures like Bob. But inside, sometimes it feels like we are. And just like Bob, we cannot control the noise around us, but we can choose how we deal with that noise. So whether you put your cereal in the bowl first or your milk first, it does not matter, because the world is going to keep revolving and it's going to keep spinning. Stop trying to waste your time fitting in with the rest of the world, because it doesn't need a copy of what it already has. But what it really needs is the own, original version of yourself. Not the one that was carved out of other people's judgments, but the one that was really there all along. Thank you.